Have you ever looked at your partner across the breakfast table after decades together and wondered, where did the spark go? Or maybe you felt a quiet ache, wishing you could feel that deep, soul-stirring connection again, the kind that made your heart race in the early days. If you're over 50, you might think passion and intimacy are things of the past, reserved for the young. But let me tell you something, straight from the heart of a woman who's lived through 78 years of love, loss, and everything in between, intimacy isn't about youth. It's about connection. And that connection can burn brighter now than ever before, if you know how to tend the flame. In this video, I'm sharing 9 harsh but honest tips from elders who've learned what keeps love alive in the long haul. These aren't sugar-coated platitudes, they're raw, real truths about love, intimacy, and the emotional bonds that make a relationship thrive, even in your 50s, 60s, 70s, or beyond. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn might just change the way you see your relationship forever. You'll discover why intimacy fades and how to bring it back, the one mistake most couples make that kills connection, and the small, everyday actions that can reignite passion without chasing youth or forcing romance. Partner, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Your support means the world, so if you find value in this video, please give it a thumbs up to help spread our message. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment number 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial, it helps me create better videos that align with your heart. Now, let's dive in. Let me start with a story. My friend Clara, bless her soul, was 82 when she sat me down over a cup of chamomile tea and told me about her marriage to Tom. They'd been together 57 years, and let me tell you, their love was the kind you could feel just by being in the room with them. But it wasn't always that way. Clara said there was a time, back in their 50s, when she felt like they were just going through the motions. They'd raised 3 kids, paid off the house, and built a good life, but somewhere along the way, the warmth between them had cooled. I loved Tom, she said, her eyes misty, but I didn't feel seen anymore. And I didn't know how to tell him. One night, after a quiet dinner, Clara broke down. She told Tom she felt like a roommate, not a wife. And Tom, to his credit, didn't get defensive. He listened. That conversation was the start of something new. Clara said it wasn't about grand gestures or spicing things up in the bedroom, it was about rebuilding the emotional bridge between them. That's the first harsh truth I want to share with you today. Love doesn't die because you get older, it fades when you stop making each other feel truly seen. Tip number 1, stop assuming your partner knows how you feel. You might think, we've been together 30 years, they know I love them. But love isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a living thing, and it needs to be fed every day with words, actions, and presence. Clara told me she and Tom started a habit after that night. Every evening, they'd sit on the porch and share one thing they appreciated about each other. It wasn't always big, sometimes it was just, I love how you hum when you're fixing the sink. But those words were like water on dry soil. They brought life back. Try this, tonight, look your partner in the eye and tell them one specific thing you love about them. Not you're great, but something real, like, I love the way you laugh when you're telling a story. Watch how it softens them. When you make your partner feel seen, you're laying the foundation for intimacy that goes deeper than anything physical. But here's where it gets tough. Tip number 2, you can't expect intimacy if you're not willing to be vulnerable. I know, vulnerability sounds like a buzzword, but hear me out. Too many of us, especially as we get older, build walls around our hearts. Maybe it's because we've been hurt, or we're afraid of looking weak, or we just don't want to rock the boat. But intimacy, real, soul-deep intimacy, only happens when you let those walls down. I remember talking to my cousin Ed, who was 74 and married to his high school sweetheart, Lorraine. Ed told me there was a time when he stopped sharing his fears with Lorraine. He thought he was protecting her by keeping his worries about retirement and health to himself. But Lorraine felt shut out. She didn't need Ed to be strong all the time, she needed him to be real. One day, Ed broke down and told her he was scared of not being enough for her as they aged. Lorraine didn't judge him. She held his hand and said, "We're in this together." That moment didn't just save their marriage, it made it stronger. So, ask yourself, when was the last time you let your partner see the real you? Not the polished version, but the one with doubts and dreams. Share one honest feeling this week, even if it's scary. It's like opening a window in a stuffy room, suddenly, you can breathe again. Now, let's talk about a mistake so many couples make. Tip number 3, don't let resentment build in silence. Resentment is like a slow leak in a tire. It might not seem like a big deal at first, but eventually, it leaves you flat. I've seen it happen too many times. You're annoyed because your partner forgot something important, or they snapped at you, or they haven't helped around the house. So you swallow it, thinking it's not worth a fight. But those little hurts pile up, and before you know it, you're sleeping in the same bed but feeling miles apart. My neighbor, Rose, who's 85 now, told https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=3WGV76C0 by told me about a fight she had with her husband, George, early in their marriage. She was furious because George wasn't pulling his weight with the kids. She kept quiet, but every time she did the dishes alone, she'd seethe. One day, it all came out in a shouting match. George was stunned, he had no idea she felt that way. They sat down, talked it out, and made a plan to share the load. Rose said, "If I'd spoken up sooner, we could have avoided so much pain." The harsh truth is, silence doesn't protect your relationship, it erodes it. If something's bothering you, say it kindly but say it. Try this, next time you're upset, start with, "I'm feeling a little off about something, can we talk?" It's not about blaming, it's about clearing the air so you can stay close. Tip number 4, physical touch isn't just about sex, it's about connection. As we age, intimacy changes, but touch remains a language of love. A hand on the shoulder, a hug in the kitchen, holding hands during a walk, these small gestures say, "You matter to me." My friend Margaret, who's 80, told me she and her husband, Frank, had to rethink intimacy after Frank's heart surgery. Sex wasn't always an option, but they found joy in simple closeness. Margaret said, "Sometimes, just lying in bed, holding each other, feels more intimate than anything we did in our 20s. The truth is, touch builds trust, and trust is the bedrock of intimacy. Make a point to touch your partner today without expecting more, a kiss on the cheek, a gentle squeeze of the hand. It's like kindling for the fire of your connection. Let's move to tip number 5, don't underestimate the power of small acts of care. Grand gestures are nice, but it's the daily things that keep love alive. Bringing your partner coffee in bed, listening when they talk about their day, or picking up their favorite snack at the store, these say, "I'm thinking of you." I'll never forget what my Aunt Helen, who was 89 when she passed, told me about her marriage. She said, "It's not the anniversaries or the vacations that made our love last. It was the way Jim always made sure my car was warm before I left for work in the winter." Those little deposits of care add up, creating a bank of trust and affection. Try this, do one small, thoughtful thing for your partner today. It doesn't have to be big, just intentional. You'll be amazed at how it softens their heart. Now, let's get to tip number 6, stop chasing youth to feel desirable. This one's tough, especially in a world that glorifies smooth skin and endless energy. I've seen so many folks in their 60s and 70s think they need to look younger or act younger to keep their partner's interest. But here's the harsh truth, your partner didn't fall in love with a 20-year-old version of you, they fell in love with you. My friend Dorothy, 76, told me something that stuck with me. After her husband, Ray, passed, she found a letter he'd written her. It said, "I love the lines on your face because they tell the story of every laugh we've shared." Dorothy said that letter reminded her that Ray didn't want a younger woman, he wanted her, with all her wisdom and warmth. The real secret to feeling desirable? Own who you are right now. Stand tall in your experience, your quirks, your story. Try this, look in the mirror today and name one thing you love about yourself, not your looks, but your spirit. Maybe it's your kindness, your humor, or the way you make others feel safe. When you embrace yourself, your partner feels that confidence, and it draws them closer. Tip number 7, don't let routine kill your connection. Life after 50 can settle into a rhythm, same dinners, same TV shows, same bedtime. Routine is comfortable, but it can make you feel like roommates instead of lovers. My cousin Betty, who's 81, told me how she and her husband, Carl, shook things up after 40 years of marriage. They started a date night once a month, but it wasn't fancy dinners. One time, they just drove to the lake, sat on a bench, and talked about their dreams, like they did when they were dating. Betty said, "It reminded us we're still growing, still curious about each other." The truth is, connection thrives on novelty, even in small doses. You don't need to climb mountains, just try something new together. Maybe it's cooking a new recipe, taking a walk in a different park, or even asking each other, what's one thing you've always wanted to try? Break the routine this week with one small adventure. It's like a spark that reignites the warmth between you. Here's tip number 8, face the hard conversations head on. As we age, life throws curveballs, health issues, changing desires, fears about the future. Ignoring these doesn't make them go away. It builds a wall between you. I remember my friend Sylvia, 79, telling me about a tough time in her marriage to Paul. Paul's arthritis made intimacy painful, and they both avoided talking about it, afraid of hurting each other's feelings. The silence made them drift apart. Finally, Sylvia said, "Paul, I miss being close to you. Can we figure this out together?" That opened the door to honesty. They talked with their doctor, explored new ways to connect, and found intimacy in ways that worked for both of them. The harsh truth? Avoiding hard topics doesn't protect your relationship, it weakens it. If something's weighing on you, whether it's about health, intimacy, or fears, bring it up gently. Start with, "I want us to be closer, and I think talking about this might help." You'll be surprised how much stronger you feel as a team when you face the tough stuff together. Finally, tip number 9, never stop learning about your partner. You might think, "I know everything about them after all these years." But people change, even in their 70s and 80s. Their hopes, fears, and desires evolve, and if you're not paying attention, you might miss who they're becoming. My neighbor, Lillian, who's 88, told me she and her husband, Walter, have a ritual. Every Sunday, they ask each other, "What's something new you've been thinking about lately?" Sometimes it's small, like a book Lillian's reading, or big, like Walter's worries about their grandkids. Lillian said, "It keeps us from taking each other for granted." The truth is, love grows when you stay curious. Ask your partner a question this week that digs a little deeper, maybe, "What's something you're proud of that I might not know about?" Listen like it's the first time you're meeting them. That curiosity is what keeps your connection alive and vibrant. So, let's bring it all together. These 9 tips, making your partner feel seen, being vulnerable, clearing resentment, touching with care, showing small acts of love, embracing who you are, breaking routines, facing hard talks, and staying curious, they're not about forcing romance or chasing youth. They're about building a relationship where intimacy flows naturally because you're emotionally connected. Love in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond isn't about fireworks every day. It's about the quiet, steady glow of knowing you're in this together, that you're seen, cherished, and understood. I think back to Clara and Tom, sitting on their porch, sharing those small appreciations. That's what kept their love alive for 57 years. It wasn't perfection, it was presence. Here's my final thought: the secret to lasting intimacy isn't in grand gestures or perfect bodies. It's in how you make each other feel every single day. When your partner feels safe, valued, and truly known, they'll crave closeness with you, not out of duty, but out of love. So, take one of these tips and try it today. Maybe it's telling your partner something you love about them, or asking a question to learn something new. Start small, but start now. Because love doesn't fade with age, it deepens when you nurture it. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you can do today to strengthen your connection with your partner? Drop it in the comments below. I read every one, and your stories inspire me. Maybe you've got a tip of your own to share, or a moment when you and your partner rediscovered each other. Let's build a community of wisdom right here. And if this video touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more insights to keep your relationships thriving. Your support helps spread this message to others who need it. One last question to leave you with: when was the last time you felt truly seen by your partner, and how did it change the way you felt about them? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep this conversation going. See you in the next one.